to play with a Charlie in the box, so I had to come here.
Where's here?
We're on the island of misfit toys. Here we don't want to stay.
All right, welcome back to Misfit Island. This is my little squad, my little army. This is where we gather to prepare for perilous times as we seek truth and as we walk in this world full of deception. And so I hope everybody had a happy Father's Day yesterday. Today is Monday. And I'm making a housekeeping announcement. I think for the summer, I'm going to do 3 videos a week. So I'm going to do Monday, I'm going to do Hump Day, and I'm going to do Freaky Friday or Friday. So instead of every day during the week, I'm going to take a little bit of time off. This takes up a lot of my time. So Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And if you miss me on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I got over like 330 videos. You can go back and we've went through almost the entire New Testament. So if something like you're confused about or something interests you, go back and look at go to my channel. I got them broken down into categories. Like I got that meat for the masses. That would be stuff like what we're doing right now, Revelation. And I got milk for babes, and I started doing some other little segments like, so that's where it's at in the Bible, and that's what Jesus said, and stuff like that. So I encourage you to go back and check out my channel on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So right now we are going through the book of Revelation, and as we wait for the Lord's return, the pre-tribulation rapture is the next event happening. And I realize it's hard for me, but I try to just stick with just reading the word and see what God's saying without like putting geopolitics in it and stuff like that. But I know I slip a lot, and there's a lot going on in the world right now. And literally, the stuff that's going on in Israel, it's like we're literally watching something that was prophesied, 3,000 years ago. It's happening today. And I think it's in Jeremiah 49 or somewhere in there, where it talks about Elam's bow will be destroyed, and Elam is like the western side of Iran, and you see it right now, it's being destroyed. So also Gaza too. Gaza says Gaza is going to be it's not going to be inhabitable. It's going to be like cows and birds just flocking in the fields. It's not going to be like it's not going to be Trump Tower and Trump Island or anything like that. It's, eventually they're probably just going to bomb it where it's completely wiped out. By the time the Lord comes back, it's just going to be a bunch of weeds. So thanks for coming to the channel, and thanks for spending some time with me. I don't think I said it, but my name is Timothy, and here on the island, I am Misfit One. And all of you guys out there that like to rumble to this channel, it's my channel page name or whatever is Misfit One. And if you do rumble and you're not on YouTube, I recommend you go to YouTube, because Rumbles, they slam me with commercials, man. It's crazy. They ain't paying me nothing for it, so, and I think in YouTube, because I'm not monetized here either, I don't think you get any commercials. Shouldn't get any commercials. I know the guys that I watch, they're not monetized. There's no commercials. The guys that are monetized, like a half an hour of this thing that sometimes you'll get like 8 breaks and commercials. You gotta sit there and wait for it. Says skip, and make you endure 10 seconds or 5 seconds of a commercial every 3 minutes. It's crazy. I hate commercials. So today we are about to dig into chapter 17. Are you ready? It's about the Scarlet Woman and the Scarlet Beast. And if you remember last week, we left off. We did chapter 16 on Friday, and it was all the bowl judgments. You just remember the first bowl, the loathsome sores. So, I'm guessing I don't know if it's going to be like sores all over the whole body, or if it's just going to be the mark of the beast is going to have a sore. Like letting them know, shouldn't have did that. And there's pus coming out of their, whatever, hadpies all over their hand or their forehead. And the second bowl was the sea turns to blood. The third bowl, the waters, it says the waters turn to blood. It doesn't say all though. Fourth bowl, men are scorched. So there's your global warming. Can't control it. But the men today, they tried, oh, we need to stop using air conditioners and driving cars, and you can't have gas stoves, and you can't have barbecues because of global warming, as they buy beachfront properties, 1 foot from the sea level, spending, $20 million on their properties, and they telling you that the world's going to melt all the ice caps and it's going to flood out New York, and it's all about control. But I won't go into that. We're here to read God's word. Fifth bowl was darkness and pain. Remember, he poured out the darkness on the beast. In the sixth bowl, the Euphrates is dried up to prepare for battle, that final battle when Jesus comes back. That's why I think all these bowls are like at the end of the Great Tribulation. Because how can you live when everything's blood? There's no. How long does it take to die without water? Like 2 days, 3 days, and everything turns to blood. So I don't know how people are going to survive. But I don't know. Maybe they find a way to convert the blood back to water. I don't know. Maybe they're all drinking Cokes and Pepsis, and that would kill them too. Remember I was telling you about and he says that on the seventh bowl where the earth is shaken, and the guy was saying the sky, and he's big in the prophecy teaching. He's like, dude's highly intelligent. He's got a great page. I think it's called Sooth Keep. And I asked a question, and he said it was the same event that happened in 6. And I'm telling you, it's not the same event, because in 6 the sixth seal, is it the 6? It's in chapter 6. It's the sixth seal, and it's talking about where the sky scroll back and is rolled up, and every mountain and island was moved out of its place. The kings of the earth, great men, rich men, the commanders, mighty men, every slave, every free man hid themselves in the caves and the rocks and the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne, which is who? The Father, and from the wrath of the Lamb. So they see the people that are being judged right now, they know that God and Jesus is judging them. For the great day of his wrath has come, and who is able to stand? So before, it was the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. It was like world leaders trying to, put people in check. And so, but now they know God's judging them. Now they're like this scroll, the heavens been rolled, the scroll, the sky scrolls back. They know that God's judging them. Over here in 16, we read Friday, he said the seventh seal, or the seventh bowl, he says it's done. Noises and thunders and lightnings. A great earthquake, such as mighty great earthquake, had not occurred since men were on the earth. Doesn't say that back here. It says, don't even say there's an earthquake. It just says every mountain and island is moved out of its place. And this is a great earthquake. It's the worst earthquake that's ever been on the planet since man's been on the planet. And there's been some bad ones. It says, now the great city was divided into 3 parts. Is that great city, is that Babylon, or is that Israel, or Jerusalem? And then it says, and the city of the nations fell. So it says, and the cities of the nations fell, and a great Babylon was remembered before God to give her the cup of the wine of fierceness of his wrath. And 20 says, then every island fled away, and the mountains were not found. And great hail from heaven fell upon men, each hailstone about the weight of a talent. Men blasphemed God because of the plague of the hail, since the plague was exceedingly great. So, in the other one, it's like they know God's judging them, they're hiding. This says there's a great hailstorm, and it's a plague, and they know that God's judging them again. And by this point, all these judgments has happened. Like, I believe these judgments are individual judgments, just like with Pharaoh, and they told Moses to go free his people, and each judgment was a judgment to give him a chance to repent and let his people go, and he'd say yes, and then he'd say no, and I think it's like 10 judgments. I believe all these are separate judgments too, and this was the last one. So now we're going to go back in time, and we're going to, because remember he says, and great Babylon was remembered before God. So now we're going to go back, and we're going to, so I remember like he gave you this big picture of what's going on. Now he's going to go back and give you some more details. So chapter 17, the Scarlet Woman and the Scarlet Beast. Then one of the, verse 1, then one of the 7 angels who had the 7 bowls came and talked with me, saying to me, come. Just like in chapter 6, it's like he's in heaven. He sees Jesus get the scroll with the 7 seals. We're in heaven and we're all singing a song to Jesus because we know the redemption is coming, the redemption plan. We're rejoicing because he's getting ready to judge the earth. It's ready, ripe and ready to be judged. And I said back then, if you go back and look at chapter 6, if you missed it, you should go back and check it out. You should go back and check out the book of Revelation. It's awesome. But he says, come and see. And I said, he's taking these people, and people, like a lot of people reading this, come and see, like it's just nothing. But to me, that's major, because he's taking them out of heaven and saying, come over here and check this out. You got this leader. He's trying to conquer just by the words, and trying to put the world back together, and that didn't work. So he says, come and see. He takes them over to some more time, and the rider on the red horse, and he's given power to kill, and everybody's killing each other. They're all killing all the crazy Christians. They're the tribulation saints. Shouldn't say Christians, total different category. Christians are gone. The bride, the church, the Christians, we're in heaven singing a new song. Well, we've finished singing the new song. Now we're probably watching that going on in chapter 6. He keeps saying, come and see. So now he's saying, he's seen these 7 bowls, right? Now he's saying, come check this. We're going to go back and check out what happened to Babylon. He said, Babylon was remembered. John said, Babylon was remembered. God said, Babylon was remembered. Well, let's go back and check out and see what happened to Babylon. So it says, come, I will show you the judgment of the great harlot who sits on many waters. All kinds of people trying to, who is this? And, we'll find out at the very end of chapter 17, he tells you who this harlot is. Not everybody's, oh, what's this and it's that. Well, he tells you. So we'll get to that before it's over. So, all right. So he sits on many waters, with whom the kings of the earth committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth were made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So this harlot, man, the whole world, the kings of the earth, they're made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness. See, he takes him where he was at. He was watching these 7 bowls being poured. The last one was poured. A great city divided into 3. Babylon was remembered. The people were like, oh, just imagine this earthquake's so bad, all the cities fall, and then there's no more mountains and there's no more high islands. Well, the earth is flat, right? And it's all flat now. That was a joke. In case you didn't get it. So where were we? So this says, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast, which was full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet, and adorned with gold and precious stones and pearls, having in her hand a golden cup full of abominations and the filthiness of her fornication, and on her forehead a name was written. Mystery, and it's not Mystery Babylon, it's Mystery, and mystery is like, I'm going to reveal something to you now that you didn't know. So John's getting this, so it's like I give you the password to get into my phone, and now this mystery of how to get into my phone is gone, and now you know how to get into my phone. So he's going to show John this mystery, this city, this woman. Remember, was it 8? So in 13:1, where it talks about this beast that comes onto the scene. What's it say in 13:1? I got here. Then I stood on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rising out of the sea, having 7 heads, 10 horns, and on his horns 10 crowns, and on his heads a blasphemous name. Well, so I saw a woman sitting on the scarlet beast. So there's a woman sitting on this beast, which was full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast, right? We just read in 13:1, had 7 heads and 10 horns. So it's going back to where Babylon was rebuilt, and the system, this beast system. And this is when the beast system is here. And we can see it being some things that are being built right now, and how it's probably going to, it's going to form what the things that they're probably going to use. But I think it's going to be even far more than what we know now. I mean, we're going to see it and be blown away by this beast system. Everybody's blown away by it when they see it. It's a great and terrible beast. So it says that she was arrayed in purple, scarlet, and adorned with gold and precious stones and pearls, having in her hand the golden cup full of abomination. I think they try to say it's a Catholic church because of the colors right there. I just think it's going to be this big, beautiful city. Stones and the colors and, all the pomp and just this big, beautiful, rebuilt Babylon. Just something. I mean, like if you ever go into Catholic churches, there are some beautiful buildings. It's going to blow those away. But it says that she's got a golden cup. It's full of abominations and filthiness for her fornication, and on her forehead her name, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and of the abominations of the earth. So this is how God sees this beast system. I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I marveled with great amazement. And you can go back and read like Daniel and I think Isaiah and Jeremiah, or I don't know, all these people that seen this, especially Daniel. Daniel definitely, I don't know if I have it, I don't have it cross-referenced. But yeah, they're just this beast. They see this beast and they're like, whoa, it's like it's something that's never been seen before, And that whole, was it Daniel 2? The iron mixed with miry clay. So it's something that's going to be where this, like you've seen in Genesis 6. There's going to be angels having sex with women and creating giants. I think it's going to be something where these angels, technology mixed with men to create gods, something like that. That the world, these 10 leaders, I don't know. It always throws me off on that, where it might not be like Nephilim or the mighty men. It's the mighty men of renown before the flood and after the flood is that 3 of them fall. The Antichrist or the dragon, I forget which one, goes to battle against them and 3 of them fall. So that's what always throws me off. It might just be regular men, and I got all that way off. So John says, I marveled at this great amazement. And then verse 7 says, but the angel said to me, why do you marvel? I tell you the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carries her, which has the 7 heads and the 10 horns. The beast that you saw was and is and not, and will ascend out of the bottomless pit and go to perdition. Remember we read in chapter 9, that's where this I believe, these judgments, what was 9, what judgment was that? The 5th trumpet. And I think that's when this spiritual realm is open. It's like everybody can see the matrix now. Everybody can see the ones and the zeros. The spiritual realm will be with the physical realm of humans. And all these beasts going out to sting the men for 5 months, remember? So this beast system, he was, he is not, or was and is and not. And there's all kinds of teachings, but it comes out of the bottomless pit. Remember, you seen the bottomless pit? There was an angel that went down and unlocked it. And then the guy at the bottomless pit that was like the leader of these demons coming out of it, they had a king over them, the angel of the bottomless pit. So he's an angel, fallen angel, obviously, whose name in Hebrew is Abaddon, but in the Greek his name is Apollyon. And like I said, if you that's translated into English, it's called the Destroyer. So is it this guy that's coming out here? Because it says this guy who was and is not and will ascend out of the bottomless pit and go to perdition. So does like come out of the pit and he goes straight to hell? Or is that like that's going to be his judgment after he does all this evil stuff? Let's see. And those who dwell, there's those pesky little earth dwellers that make fun of you and laugh at you when you tell them about Jesus. So, I was thinking of something the other day. And I was thinking, and I call this channel like Misfits. We're like here on Misfit Island or Misfits. Whatever title you want to give yourself. I say it's the Misfits because if you're telling people about Jesus, you're definitely a misfit. You don't fit into this world. We're sojourners here. We don't belong in this world. It's like the more you learn about God and how much He loves you and His plan, you realize the more that we don't belong here. And I was thinking, it's like, somebody might say, well, man, everybody loves me. And I was thinking, well, if you're wearing those shoes and everybody loves you, and I'm not talking about your Christian brothers and sisters, I'm talking about the world, the earth dwellers. If everybody loves you, then start telling them about Jesus. Start telling them, about the price He paid. Tell them that they are sinners and they need to repent. The judgment's coming. There's going to be a rapture. And the world is going to be judged. And, tell them about the blood of Jesus and the cross and how much He loves them. And I guarantee you, all these people that love you, you're going to find out who really loves you and who doesn't love you. I give you that challenge this week. You do it tomorrow. Start tomorrow. See if I'm right or not. You'll find out real fast. So where were we? Oh yeah, the earth dwellers. Second half of verse 8. And those who dwell on the earth will marvel, whose names are not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. What? So they're not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world? There's a whole deep study right there. I'm talking about the book of life and you're written in it and your name is blotted out and it says these people was never written in it from the foundation. When they see the beast that was and is not and yet is that the one of the heads that was wounded and was like resurrected for 3 days, or is it like some people teach it's like it's Judas, some people teach it's Nimrod, the first world leader. They believe he was a giant, and he, the third rebellion. This started this whole process of the 70 nations, and then God picking Abram and making him His chosen people and His chosen land, and all the promises to them, and the whole, the Old Testament's all about them and having fellowship with God and falling out and going back and repenting and going back in fellowship, and then Jesus came and He died on the cross for all men's sins, and then at Pentecost, and the Holy Spirit came, and it said all men represented, all the 70 nations was there speaking in their tongues, and everybody understood each other. That was bringing the last 2,000 years, God is bringing the 70 nations back to be able to have fellowship with Him, so no one can perish. Salvation is for everybody, because before then it was just for the Jews. And everybody else was like pagan worshipers, or they became a Jew to have fellowship with God and be saved. And I don't know. There's all kinds of teachings on that, who this is. I don't have time to go into that. So here's the mind which has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains. So remember back in 13, he's talking about the 7 heads, 10 horns, and his horns are 10 crowns. And now he's going to explain to him the system he's seen, beast system being built in 13. It's got to be like right before the 7-year tribulation period, or during this time frame of the gap. And all those judgments are happening during the gap period before it starts. This because the system's got to be built, because he's going to go in and let the Jews rebuild the temple at the beginning of the 7 years. So now he's going to explain that vision he had. So the 7 heads were 7 mountains, not men. They were mountains, power. A lot of time mountains are governments. So it could be governments on which the woman sits. So this woman, she sits in these mountains. That's why a lot of people say it's Rome, because I think it's in the middle of 7 mountains or something. Maybe it's in Vegas, because Vegas has the 7 mountains over there, and what is that, over by Henderson? I used to work over there and I lived there. Maybe they call it seven something, seven hills, or I don't know. The woman sits on these, she sits on these mountains, so maybe it's governments and this religious, we'll go into it. There are also 7 kings, 5 have fallen, 1 is, and the other has not yet come. Now, a lot of people talk about this, and they're using like the history of man. And I think the last time I did this, when I first started doing this channel, because I haven't, I'm kind of just reading this with you. I haven't, like, gosh, I wish I had time to do my due diligence study and give you in depth. I'm a lot of telling you time. I need 27 hours a day so I can do this. But I was saying, remember, you get the first four horsemen of the apocalypse, and I said the fourth horse has 2 riders. Remember, it says, what does it say? The pale horse, the name on him who sat on it was Death, and Hades followed with him, and power was given to them over the fourth of the earth. So the fourth horse is actually two leaders. That's 5, right? And over here it says, there are also 7 kings, 5 have fallen, 1 is. So maybe there's another king living, 1 is, and the other has not yet come, which is going to be the Antichrist, right? Well, I was teaching it last week, and it had where he's talking about he gave his power. So I guess it was 13. The dragon gave all him his power. I don't know why. I went back and read it, but it says. So I was like, oh, maybe he only gets his power like at the beginning of the 3.5 years. But it says, I forgot where was that. But anyways, it says to continue. It says there's continue in there somewhere. Let me find it. Worship the dragon, gave authority to the beast, and they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like the beast, able to make war with him? Oh yeah, right here. So here, verse 5. And it was given a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and he was given authority to continue. So he already had authority. He was a part of these 10 kings, these 10 crowns up there. He already had authority, but now the beast gives him all his power, and he's going to continue that power for 42 months, which is the last 3.5 years, right? So there's all kinds of teachings that I want to go into who these. So it says, so the 7 kings, 5 have fallen, 1 is, and the other has not yet come. And when he comes, he must continue a short time. So is that the 42 months? I don't know. The beast that was and is not is himself also the 8th. And Mr. goes into this deep, and he explains it to you. And I think it's all about the mountains or governments, and these government, like the vision that Daniel's seen with the Greek and Medo-Persia and Rome, and the 4 powers, and the statue with the different metals, and the 10 kings, and I don't know where they get. So the third one was Rome, and I don't know where they get where the 4th beast is the Rome, the second Rome, like Rome 2.0. I don't know where they get that. It doesn't say that. I look at like the European Union now and Rome. They have no oil, no natural, and they have to buy all their energy from somebody. Well, they're probably freaking out right now. I don't know if they're getting it from Iran. I think they're getting their stuff from Iran. They got to buy it from us now. But I mean, to be a superpower on the planet, you got to have your own energy system, your own oil or whatever. Maybe they have some kind of energy that's going to come up after this, is like where they don't need oil. I don't know. Maybe they invent something. Anyways, so he gets his power for a short time. The beast that was and is not is himself also the 8th, and is of the 7, and is going to perdition. So who did he say this beast that came up out of the bottomless pit? So he's going to go to perdition too, right? So maybe this, it's, I don't know. I mean, I know there's all kinds of things taught on this, and I don't know for sure, so I'm just going to read it to you. And you can, if you want to learn, dig in deep, go in deeper yourself and find out, and try to figure it out, or I don't know, read other, go get you a bunch of books. People wrote about Book of Revelation, commentaries on it, or I don't know, listen to stuff. There's all kinds of teachings on this, and I'm still confused on it. This where it's also 7 kings, 5 have fallen, 1 is, and the other is, that would be the 5 at the beginning of the tribulation period, or beginning of this last period of man on earth. I think there's a big old gap. Minimum 7, if not 40. And if you don't, you're like, what? Blasphemy! Go back and look at my other videos, explain it more. Anyways, then he goes on, he says, so that's still confusing. And I'm thinking it has something to do with the beast in chapter 6 and chapter 9, and then now, in chapter 13, and then chapter 17 now, because he's going back and he's giving more details about it. It says, the 10 horns which you saw are 10 kings. Remember, one of them in 13, one of them is destroyed or murdered, comes back to life. Who received no kingdom as yet. And this is why I don't think it's, a lot of people was teaching the world's going to be divided into 10, because, the Club of Rome, they have a map where they divided the world into 10 segments, and they're going to have a ruler of all those 10. Well, this right here tells you that that's not it. I don't think it's going to be Rome. It's not going to be world leaders. And I still think it's going to be something to do with Genesis 6 and these mighty men before the flood and the mighty men after the flood and the Nephilim and the iron mixed with miry clay. That are these 10 kings, because it says they who have received no kingdom as of yet. So they don't have a kingdom, territory, not yet. That's why I don't think it's man. It's another reason I don't think it's man. I think it's something beyond man. Everybody's going to, I guess the thing that seems like the time that we live in now, what it looks like is it's going to be aliens. All right, aliens are going to invade the country, or the Anunnaki, or something that's going to come here and say, we planted the seeds of mankind, and we come back to save you before you destroy yourselves. Something like that. But they receive authority for 1 hour. So they do get authority for 1 hour, and I think we read about that already in 13. as kings with the beast. So this beast, he's going to have this little 10 kings with him. They're going to have power with him for 1 hour. These are oh man, really? These are of one mind, and they will give their power and authority to the beast. So when this beast comes up, was and is not, is himself also the 8th and is of the 7, and he comes up, and there's this one that comes out of the bottom of this pit. These 10 kings are in agreement. Maybe the Anunnaki or the aliens, or they don't have any property, but they're all in agreement, and they give this beast their power. So whatever power they have over mankind at this point in time, they're going to give it to the beast. These will make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb will overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and those who are with him are called chosen and faithful. Wait a minute. So when Jesus comes back to fight this battle against the beast, he says he's Lord of lords and Kings of kings, and those who are with him called chosen and faithful. Who's chosen and who's faithful? The chosen would be the Jews, right? Children of Israel. The Israelites, the Hebrews, we call them Jews now. They are the chosen. And who's the faithful? The Christians were saved by faith through the grace of God and what he did on the cross, right? So here's another little reference that we are in heaven with Jesus. People think, there's no rapture in the Bible. It's all over the place. Remember I said, this channel is basically milk for babes. But you get some meat here and there, and usually just the book of Revelation, because it's the only book I really know. Everything else I just kind of read it casually. And it's like a 1,000,000-piece puzzle. And milk for babes is like putting the outside of the square, get all the square in first, right? And then you start putting it in. Well, if you piece these little puzzles together, you're going to get a picture of the rapture. And here's another one. There's a group of people that was chosen and faithful with Jesus. Number 5, we're singing a new song to him before he starts making his judgments in chapter 6. And there's another spot where it talks, alludes to us being with him. Then he said to me, the waters which you saw where the harlot sits are people. See, this is where I told you in chapter 5, and it says this crystal sea. Well, look here. He says the waters on the earth. he's giving you a description of this mystery, or Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and the abominations on the earth. He's revealing this mystery to John. And he said, the waters that you see are the people. Peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. That's why I said this crystal sea is in heaven is us. It's like, because there's so many of us, it looks like a sea of people. And it's crystal clear because we're given our new robes. We are in our new bodies now. And then each time you see that sea, the only thing that threw me off is like when the Great Tribulation, the people that died during that period says they're standing on the sea. And that kind of throws me off. I don't know, maybe the word is, if I did a word study, it might explain it better. Verse 16, and the 10 horns which you saw on the beast, these will hate the harlot. So these 10 people that give all their power to the beast, it's in the 7 mountains, and they have a power, but they don't have any land yet. Well, they hate this harlot and make her desolate and naked. They're going to make her desolate and naked. So they're going to use this harlot, this woman that has all the abominations of the earth, and the people are sucked up into it, and they're doing all her filthiness, everything that she had, sexual immorality and killing and stealing and destroying. They're all bloodlust and part of that system. They got their mark and they're like the Matrix with all of them in the center of Earth, and they're all doing their big orgy. They can't wait to get on top of back on the surface. Ruined the movie. So these 10 kings, these beasts, they hate this harlot, so they're just going to use her. They're using her for now because she's riding the beast. She's got the power too. This religious system, whatever is set up, that the world, these earth dwellers are sucked into. So they're going to make her desolate and naked. They're going to eat her flesh, and they're going to burn her with fire. For God has put it into their hearts to fulfill His purpose. So they think they're going to destroy this religious system and this beast system. Probably more people, more just killing, because they hate humans. They got them all psyched out and think they love them, but they hate them. They're going to go and destroy these people. This religious system. And they think they're doing it, but actually God puts it in their hearts to go do it, to fulfill His purpose. So so these guys are going to be two of one mind, and to give their kingdom to the beast. So they kill the harlot, they have their kingdom, they're going to give it to the beast. They're all of one mind until the words of God are fulfilled. So there's this beast and these kings, they give this power to him. They're going to have power until the words of God are fulfilled, and that would be the book of Revelation, right? There's some prophecies in the Old Testament too. But when this book is completed, that's when God's words are fulfilled. And the woman whom you saw is that great city which reigns over the kings of the earth. It's a city. So there's this empire, this city that's built. Maybe it's Babylon. Because tomorrow or Wednesday we're going to read about the fall of the great Babylon. So, but it's a city. He tells you who this mystery is. This mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots. So maybe it's this religious system that's built in Babylon. Then he tells you the woman, the city's the woman, the waters is the peoples and nations and multitudes and tongues, and the 10 horns are the 10 kings, and they all are one mind power, and they give authority to the beast. And he tells you this beast is part of the 5, is and was not, is and is going to come for a short time. He was and is not, and he's the 8th, and he's of the 7, and he goes into perdition. So that part I'm still confused on. So yeah, there you go. I went long. This stuff's hard to explain and get it all done in a half an hour, but I hope you're still here with me. And if you are, thanks for watching. I thank you for spending your time here. I mean, they're like fascinating and interesting, and it's the future, and it's guaranteed it's going to happen. This is we're almost at the end, and it's also depressing and sad, and it sucks the life out of you. But, if there's people out there you know and love, I'm telling you, there's little time left. I mean, we see the stuff that's going on in the world, and it's never going back to normal. 2020 is like, there's something about 2020 kicked off this mission for these last days. And nothing, it's never going to go back to normal. It's only going to get worse. Jesus said, when you see these things, it's going to be like a woman giving birth, and they continue and contract and get stronger and stronger until boom. They don't like, false alarm, and you're going to have 10 years of normal again. No, we're never going back to normal. Never. There's always going to be news is always going to be, riots and, I don't know. It's chaos. There's chaos out there. But you know what? God's in charge. And if you're one of his children, you have no need to worry. He's in charge. Everything's going exactly as planned. So, so thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on Hump Day Wednesday. You ready? Chapter 18, The Fall of Babylon the Great. All right. I'll see you guys on Wednesday.